In the last video, we graphed a cosine. This video, we're going to graph a sine. Okay, I'm going to do this by hand from scratch, and we'll recap by looking at what's on the handout I have made. Okay, so we want to graph this guy, y equals 3 sine of 3x plus pi minus 1. Let's get it into our standard form, so let's factor a 3 in the argument of the sine. So 3 sine of 3 times x plus pi over 3 minus 1. So this is our a times sine of b times x minus c plus d. All right, let's get all our parameters. So what is the amplitude? It's absolute value of a, which is 3, midline. It is d, which is -1. So y is -1, okay? Period. It is 2 pi over absolute value b. So that is 2 pi over what is b? 3. All right, now what's the phase shift? It's just c, which is negative pi over 3. Be careful with the sign. Negative pi over 3. Okay, so these are the parameters we need. And then, additionally, we have to remember what's the pattern for sine. It starts at the mid, goes up to the max, goes back to the mid, goes to the min, and back up to the mid. Yeah? We need our x coordinate, we need our y coordinate. All right, so let's do the easy part first. Let's do the y value. So the mid is -1. So wherever there's a mid, put a -1. The max is, oh, let's get our range actually. So from these two, we can get that our range is midline plus or minus amplitude, d plus or minus a. So what is our range? That is, what's -1 minus 3? That's -4. And the maximum would be -1 plus 3, which is 2. Okay? So the minimum would be -4. The maximum would be 2. Okay. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. Now let's get the x values. We're going to start from our phase shift of right here, minus pi over 3. Okay. The period happens again at this point over here. So we can just add 2 pi over 3. The period is right here. If we scroll back a little bit, let me zoom out so we can squeeze it all in screen. Hopefully it's not too small. And hopefully this video is not lagging. Okay, but anyway, what was that? So if we add 2 pi over 3 to minus pi over 3, we get positive pi over 3 as this point over here. Okay, so what's smack dab in the middle between negative pi over 3 and pi over 3? 0. And then what's in between 0 and pi over 3? That's pi over 6. And what's in between 0 and negative pi over 3? That's negative pi over 6. Look how easy that was. Or alternatively, remember, we can do, what's a quarter period? A fourth of 2 pi over 3. What would that be? That would be pi over 6. We're adding 30 degrees. So from here, this is minus 60 degrees, right? We add 30 degrees, so that's minus 30 degrees. We add 30 degrees, that's 0. We add 30 degrees, that's 30 degrees. We add 30 degrees, that's 60 degrees right there. Just in radians, yeah? Okay. We have our 5 points. Let's sketch. So we're going to start at minus pi over 3, minus 1. So right over here, let's say. All right? This will actually go much lower because at the max at minus pi over 6, it's going to be 2. And then at 0, it's going to be minus 1 again. And then at pi over 6, it is minus 4. So this guy's pi over 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 down here. And then back up to the mid. So here is 1 period right there. If we need another period, what's pi over 3 plus the period, which is 2 pi over 3? That is pi. So you can even do 2 pi over 3 pi. So you would get another mid there. Sorry, the mid should not be at 0, should be at minus 1. So let me fix that as well. So it should look like this. My bad. Okay, so another period would look like this, right there. So you can see how this is clearly a compressed version of sine of x, because the period is much shorter. Okay? All right. So let's see if I got that right. Looks about right. That's the exact same points that I wrote, right? Okay, so to recap, get the parameters first. Okay, you got to remember what all the parameters are. Can't help you there. And then you got to get the pattern for sine. Start the phase shift, add quarter period, or do what I did, plus the period, half, quarter, quarter. Okay, that's how I did that. And then the y value, the mids are just the midline. The max is the upper end of the range. Sorry, that's this one. And the min is this one over here, minus 4. Okay. I'll zoom on the graph once more. Okay. Hopefully this was helpful to see another one live without a template or anything. We actually thinking through all the parameters and all that. Of course, if you need a parameter, template to start with, please, by all means, create a template for yourself. You can follow what I did in the previous videos. Otherwise, at some point, you should practice without a template because that's how it's going to be on your test. All right, in the next video, we'll start looking at reflections and all that.